Hi everyone. It's time for another What's New Wednesday. This is Ann behind the camera, and I'm looking at Julie Madlin, Ogdensburg's historian and the director of the Ogdensburg History Museum. And it's Wednesday, and we're down here with some exciting things to share.
We are. All kinds of good stuff happening here.
Well, what's new?
So what's new is we have the Battle of Ogdensburg coming up on February 22nd and 23rd. This is an annual event, but we are helping out. We're working with the Fort La Presentation Association and Forsyth's Rifles to help out with the event.
Okay, so for those of us who were not history buffs, tell us what the Battle of Ogdensburg was part of.
The Battle of Ogdensburg was part of the War of 1812.
Ah, okay.
So we had some unfinished business with Great Britain.
Or I guess they thought they had some unfinished business with us.
Well, a little of both, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so why are we looking at, we've got a picture of the river here, I think.
We do, yes.
Maybe the Oswegatchie, and maybe you can...
Oswegatchie and St. Lawrence,
Okay,
yes.
and then we've got a mannequin of a lady's dress.
We do, and my reenactor friends, I want you to throw away your conceptions of what's historically accurate.
Imagine if you will.
Yes, we're telling a story here.
Okay, exactly. All right, so what is the story that you're going to tell us today?
So let me just tell you a little bit about the print. The print was made by Eric Brunette, and it is showing Fort La Presentation. This would be during the French and Indian War, so not the War of 1812. So all my reenactor friends, we were looking for a good picture of the fort in War of 1812, and I didn't have one on hand. So
yeah, so this would have been quite a bit earlier.
Yes, this would have been quite a bit earlier. There was a fort on the site. It did not look like this one.
Okay.
But just to kind of give you an idea.
But we're looking at what is today Lighthouse Point.
Correct, yes.
Okay.
Lighthouse Point, and we're looking at the confluence of the Oswegatchie and St. Lawrence rivers.
Okay.
Now, back in February of 1813, it was very, very cold. Kind of like today, but even colder. It was about 20 below zero.
Wow.
So picture this before the seaway, completely frozen over. Okay. And when the battle actually takes place, the British soldiers actually walked across the river, which you can't do now, but you could then, and were able to get into Ogdensburg that way. So they didn't have to take a ship or a ferry or anything like that. They actually walked across the ice.
Wow.
That's how cold it was. And they had been drilling for several weeks ahead of this battle. So seeing these guys out on the ice drilling was not a big deal. So when Benjamin Forsyth and his men and the citizens of Ogdensburg were looking, it was really no big deal to see British soldiers out on the ice.
Interesting.
Yes. But then they got closer. They kept coming. And so they came to Ogdensburg and attacked Ogdensburg, and they went right up Ford Street. So
Marched in formation.
they sure did, with their beautiful red uniforms, and there were hundreds of them.
Wow.
Marching up that street. So kind of hard to imagine, but that actually did happen.
So if we're imagining in our minds where this is all taking place, we should think about what? City Hall?
Yes.
And maybe where the Sperling Building is, the
Yes.
cinema.
Yes.
And there's a character who from history who is positioned right where the cinema is.
Right. So right where the movie theater is, there were cannon there, and there were men who were manning that cannon and shooting at the British
As they marched up the
as
street.
they marched up. But they didn't know the British were coming from that direction originally, and it had to hurriedly turn these cannon and try to shoot at them.
Wow.
They are not professional soldiers. They are militiamen.
But there's one in particular
Yes.
that we want to focus on today. And
Yes.
who was he?
Sheriff Joseph York.
Okay.
He was the sheriff of the county, and he was part of the militia. And he and his men are trying to fire at these British soldiers, and they're struggling. They're having a hard time. And as the British get closer, they actually kill the other men who are at the cannon with him. And Joseph York continues to fire that cannon. And when the British got closer, they said, "Here stands a man too brave to die."
Aww.
So they wouldn't shoot him because he was so brave. They do take him prisoner. So they bring him back across the ice, and he is jailed.
Wow.
Yes. So while all of that is going on, Joseph's wife, Lavinia, is in the old courthouse.
Ooh.
The old courthouse was located where the post office is today.
Okay.
So it was a courthouse, but they also lived there. And so she can hear this battle going on and doesn't know what's going on with her husband. She eventually flees, and she takes some of her belongings with her. Obviously, she can't carry everything. When she comes back, she realizes that her house has been ransacked.
Oh.
And this was a big issue after the battle. So we have letters that explain, yes, the battle was bad. There was, windows broken, and, people were killed during this battle. But, hi.
Oh, we've got a visitor.
We have a visitor. But there are people from the outlying areas were actually coming into people's houses and stealing their stuff.
Wow.
So people from Lisbon, Uvalton, all over the place are coming into Ogdensburg because they know everyone has fled. So people knew that this attack was going to happen at some point, and they had fled the city. So people around the area were like, "Hey, we can go in and break into their houses, and we can take their stuff."
Wow.
So Lavinia comes back, and she finds out her stuff has been taken, and she is not happy about it. Not only has she lost her husband, she's lost her stuff, including her looking glass.
Oh.
And looking glasses were very, very rare, especially in Ogdensburg, because we were kind of a frontier town at that point. So she walks herself across the ice, and she talks to the British, and she's like, "I want my husband back, and I want my stuff." And I just think that's very brave of her to actually walk across and say, "Hey, where's my husband? Where's my stuff? I want it."
Wow.
And remarkably, she gets her husband back. She doesn't get all of her stuff, though.
No.
She wanted her spoons, she wanted her looking glass, and she didn't get everything back. She did get some of her stuff back, but
Did
not
she
everything.
get that looking glass back?
I don't believe she got the looking glass. That was very valuable.
Oh.
Yeah. or I think I might have read that it was broken.
I see.
Yes.
Oh, she must have been hopping mad.
Oh, she was hopping mad. Yeah. Yeah.
But isn't it fascinating to think that we had those two extremely brave individuals who lived right here in Ogdensburg?
Absolutely.
And I saw on your site, the Ogdensburg History site, that you had a picture of the plaque that marks where Sheriff York is buried in Ogdensburg Cemetery.
Right. So we worked to have that plaque there to commemorate his bravery.
I think that's terrific.
Yeah, I can't imagine standing down all of hundreds of soldiers like that and continuing to fire.
No.
I couldn't do it.
That's what you call devotion to duty.
Absolutely. And he deserves a lot of credit for that. But so does Lavinia.
I think so too. I think Lavinia shows some real chutzpah there. And, that's the sort of frontier spirit that probably helped people, brave the elements and, move things forward.
Absolutely. And days like this make me think of them because of the cold. Mm-hmm. It was very, very cold that day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it seems cold today, but not nearly as cold as what Lavinia and the others would have faced.
No.
So before we sign off, can you just remind us again about this event that's coming up?
Yes, so the Battle of Ogdensburg is February 22nd and 23rd.
Okay.
So it starts with a wreath-laying ceremony at Sheriff York's gravesite out at the Ogdensburg Cemetery. So if you do go to that, you'll see that plaque there, the sign there.
Nice.
And then the battle reenactment is at 1:30.
Okay.
And then at 3 o'clock here at the museum, Constance Barone is coming from the Sackett's Harbor battlefield. And she is going to talk to us about the significance of Horse Island during the Battle of Sackett's Harbor.
Oh.
So that also was during the War of 1812. So that's free and open to the public, and there's also coffee. So if you
Oh,
want some
nice.
coffee.
Okay.
And then Sunday they do the battle reenactment once again, and all of this is free and open to the public.
Oh.
Doesn't cost you a dime. Bring your kids, have fun.
Bundle up.
Bundle up. Or not. You can be like the soldiers and experience what it was really like.
Okay. I think I'll be wearing my hat and my
Yeah,
mittens.
I'm gonna be layering up.
Well, that's really fascinating.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I've gone before. It really is fun. Who doesn't like to hear a cannon fire? It's fun.
And then, it's an opportunity to remember good old Sheriff Joseph York and his wife, Lavinia.
And Lavinia, absolutely. Absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, anything else you want to remind visitors about?
We do have a children's program coming up this weekend at 11:30, also free and open to the public. And that one is focusing on immigrants, on settlers who came to Ogdensburg.
Oh, that's terrific.
Yeah. Lots of fun. That's hands-on, lots of hands-on activities for the kids. I think they're going to be painting. So
Okay.
that'll be fun.
Well, before we sign off, I just want to give a shout out to all the folks who have joined us live today. We've had several folks who've tuned in. So good on you for getting us live.
Yes.
All right. Well, thanks, Julie. That's been another informative and interesting and fun What's New Wednesday.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.